Okay, we talked about the cylinder seal, planet god correlations, identification of Nibiru under this heading of astronomy. According to Zecharia Sitchin, again, the Sumerians knew of an extra planet beyond Pluto. The planet was called Nibiru. Sitchin claims that Nibiru passes through our solar system every 3,600 years. While scholarly material in cuneiform astronomy is fairly abundant, specific treatments of Nibiru are rare. Here they are. Most of them are in German. I've had a German national in the Netherlands. She translated them for me because I don't trust my own German. But there they are. Fortunately for scholars and other interested parties, the work of the studies done above and the editors of the monumental Chicago Assyrian Dictionary, otherwise known as CAD, have located and compiled all the places where the word Nibiru and related forms of that word occur in existing tablets. A look at the CAD entry, volume N2, pages 145 to 147, tells us immediately that the word has a variety of meanings, all related to the idea of crossing. And Sitchin does say that, so he gets this right. Apparently he did look this up somewhere. It refers to crossing or being some sort of crossing marker or crossing point. Now in his theory, the 12th planet comes through our solar system and crosses the paths of planets every 3,600 years, so that's how he applies this. In only a minority of cases, these references in astronomical text, does the word relate to an astronomical body. Nibiru itself, just the word, can mean place of the crossing or crossing fee, and I've quoted the Gilgamesh epic here. Straight is the crossing point, the word is Nibiru there, a gateway. Narrow is the way that leads to it. It can be a ferry or ford, kind of the river Styx kind of thing where you're ferried across to the netherworld here. The following chart represents a complete listing of the word Nibiru in astronomical texts or astronomical context. If one wants to know what Nibiru as an astronomical body is, according to the Mesopotamians anyway, one is dependent on these texts. Let me rephrase that. If you want to know what Nibiru is, and you want to actually take the scribes' view of what Nibiru is, you got to go with these texts. It's the only place to discuss it. If you want to go with Zecharia Sitchin and come up with something else, you're free to do that. It's a free country, but you will be against the Sumerians themselves. One either lets the text tell you what it is or you don't. Now, superscripted D is a sign for God. Superscripted mole is the sign for star. This is on my website where you can view it more closely and enlarge it. Here are the references to Nibiru. This is the Sumerian and Akkadian transliteration. Here's the translation. And it's not my translation that I've made up. Here are the references that you can go look yourself. I'm not insisting that you take my word for it. Now, I've already said it's associated with Jupiter, Mercury, and a star. You might wonder, well, maybe they didn't know exactly what it was. One thing is certain, though, from the text. Nibiru is never, ever identified as a planet beyond Pluto. In fact, in Mol Apin, if you actually plot out what Mol Apin says about the calendar months and the association of certain stars with those months, here is Nibiru. It is associated with Marduk in this month. Now, in the Babylonian calendar, the appearance of Nibiru was associated with the beginning of the new year. That means that Nibiru, whatever it is, it could be visually spotted every year. Not every 3,600 years, every year. Again, I'm not claiming to know what it was. I do think it has something to do with constellations and precession, but this is the verdict of the texts themselves. Bankruptcy of what he's saying in the 12th planet. VA 243 does not prove the Sumerians knew of 12 planets. It runs counter to Sumerian iconography. There isn't a single cuneiform text for Sitchin's planet god correlations. There isn't a single cuneiform text that has Nibiru as a planet beyond Pluto. It shows up every 3,600 years, but there are texts that specifically contradict that. There isn't a single cuneiform text that links Nibiru with the Anunnaki.